Hi, so we're going to look at multi-step equations today. Multi-step equations means that there's just multiple amount of steps in order to get our variable alone. And now you're going to notice sometimes we may have more than one variable. It could be the same thing, but just on both sides, the equal sign. Our whole point is to get those variables, get those x's all to one side um, with a series of different movements. So first off, I've got four different terms, four groups. I need to move each one of those groups together to one side or the other. I like to get my variables in the front because you always want to write your answer x equals something. So let's take this 3 and move it over. If I look at the groups though, I've got subtraction back here and then nothing in front. So that just means we have an addition problem. So let's look at these two groups as if they're being added or subtracted, and I'm going to move this whole group by the inverse of that sign, which is minus 3x, and they're gone. Let's rewrite everything. You've got 2 plus 2x and then negative 6. X is in the spot that I want it to. Now I want to get away from x. I'm going to isolate x. I got to move the front 2. I got to move the second 2. I have addition. I have multiplication. Remember, we always have to do the inverse, well, I guess the backwards version of order of operations. So take care of addition and subtraction first. That 2 is positive, so I want to subtract 2. I want to subtract 2x equals negative 8. The inverse, or the opposite of multiplication, is division. We want to divide by the number that's stuck next to the variable. 2 and 2, goodbye. X equals 8 divided by 2 is 4. Negative and positive, negative. Sometimes they're dealt with a little more complicated problems. Sometimes they have parentheses. Parentheses doesn't have to make it much more difficult. We just need to make this problem look like the way that this started. We do that by distributing and kind of breaking those parentheses. So let's break those parentheses by distributing. 3 times 6, 18. 3 and negative 2 is going to give me negative 6. Let's bring that x over and then bring everything down. Okay, I have x's on both sides. I want to somehow get them all to the left. So again, if I start off that way, I've got 4 terms. And notice that this little box is stuck with that sign. This box is stuck with that sign. We want to keep the negative with the number after it. All right, let's move this 6x over. Inverse would be plus 6x. They're gone. I'm left with 14x, bring everything else down. Multiplication, subtraction, got to do addition, subtraction first. So take care of the 10, add 10, add. And final step, we have multiplication. Inverse of multiplication is dividing by that number that's stopping us. Cancels out. 28 divided by 14, 2, call it a day. All right, very last one. We have parentheses here again. Let's get rid of those parentheses. We know we can just distribute. So 3 times 5x, 15x, 3 and 4 gives me negative 12. Bring down the 10x. Bring down that 5x and 5. Okay? I have 2 x's over here. Now, I could individually move them across the equal sign. And when you do that, you always got to do the opposite. But before I do that, instead of doing 2 steps there, I want to kind of put these together because they're on the same side. That side doesn't exist. Over here, these are on the same side. I want to kind of put them together, clean up our room. 15 minus 10, I can just do our regular operation here. And that's going to give me 5x when I'm looking at those two things. Now remember, I said I wanted to get my x's in the front, so I want to try and move this group. I move this group, it's originally addition, I want to subtract. But I run into a problem. Both my x's cancel out. X is gone. If I had 5 of something, I took 5 of that something away, it doesn't exist. I only have 5 equals negative 12. Does the number 5 and negative 12, are they the same thing? No. So what we end up doing is saying those things they don't equal each other. But that's not the answer. My answer is that I say that there is no solution. Let's take it one more step. Let's say our x's did cancel, and for whatever reason, we were left with 5 equals 5. If this was our answer, does 5 equal 5? Yes, it does. It will always equal 5. In that case, instead of no solutions, we would then say many solutions or infinite many solutions. Multi-step equations.